The Acolyte Review. The name of the show is The Acolyte. Acolyte meaning, according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, one who assists clergy in a ritualistic service by performing minor duties, an assistant to a religious leader. But the title reminded me of another $2 vocabulary word I came across in my youth trying to learn these big fancy words for the SAT test. That word is anodyne, meaning to alleviate pain, or in this context, not likely to offend or arouse tensions. Innocuous, insipid, lacking in qualities that interest, stimulate, or challenge. Dull, flat.
Use
Anodyne.
in a sentence.
The Acolyte was insipidly anodyne. I don't know why, but I feel the need to clarify my Star Wars bona fides before I start, so you know where I'm coming from, and that my intentions aren't malevolent. Somewhere, deep down, in my cold, cynical heart, I once loved Star Wars more than anything else. Yes, I am ancient. I grew up seeing the original trilogy when it first released in theaters. I don't remember anything about my life prior to seeing Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Maybe I was into Tonka trucks. Maybe I was into baseball.
Records from that era are spotty at best.
But after seeing Episode 4, my life had purpose. Then I grew up, and they released the prequels. I was not a fan, but do think they're useful in showing the difference between having a producing team that helps you as a director hone your vision, as with the original trilogy, as opposed to the prequels where Lucas could do whatever he wanted, and it's kind of a mess. Let's face it, it's a Skittles truck that crashed into a Fruity Pebbles factory. What am I looking at? Then the next three come out, after the Disney plundering of Lucasfilm, and the less said about those, the better. Suffice it to say, they made the prequels look better. Now, I can't say I'm the biggest Star Wars fan. I do have friends that have wallpapered their apartments with tons of unopened Star Wars toys. But that ain't me. You do you, no judgment here. But the original trilogy meant a lot to me, still does. But I naively thought it might be fun when Disney took over the reins and would unleash a film and TV distributor's bounty and content for us to consume. How wrong I was, and how diluted they quickly made the brand. I couldn't even bring myself to watch The Mandalorian, even though I heard good things. Ahsoka looked terrible. And now, from the coffee assistant's coffee assistant, a show whose pilot must read like that of a first-year creative writing student, The Acolyte. A show whose title was pitched to her classmates over hacky sack in the quad. And they loved it. I'm calling it The Acolyte. Ooh, Leslie, how mysterious. The Acolyte. The show starts out on a remote planet, with Jedi Trinity hanging out at the Space Muppets Algonquin Round Table. No idea what she's doing there, half turned around. It looks like she's taking part in a card game. But nobody has any cards. Maybe it's a book club? An Alderaan expat meetup? Anyway, Assassin enters and they fight. And Trinity is assassinated in a fight that I didn't think was that bad. I thought it was pretty well choreographed. It ain't the parkour of District B-13, or Jackie Chan, or Bruce Lee even. But for TV, for Disney TV, you could do a lot worse. Then we cut to OSHA, who, after 2 work-related mishaps, I'm guessing is not a namesake of the safety organization. A better name would be Safety Hazard. Safety Hazard's got a neat little galactic speak and spell that can apparently do everything.
That is correct.
How come we've not seen anybody roll out one of these before? Then 2 ridiculous-looking Jedi show up. Is this the Order of the Jedi, or the Art Academy of Brooklyn? And I get news for you. Quote-unquote cool contemporary hairstyles and sci-fi fantasy shows age about as well as 80s bangs and 70s lime green tuxedos. I gotta ask, in this Me Too age where consent is expected, rightfully so, it seems strange to me the Jedi waltz in and coerce, manipulate, just immediately start manhandling, Jedi handling, the captains of the ship. Headland, you worked for Harvey Weinstein, right? I'm sure it's a coincidence. Anyway, the art school dropout Jedi come to see Safety Hazard, and they're old friends. This is made painfully clear to us by cringe-inducing forced bonhomie, bonhomie, from Safety Hazard. They arrest her for the murder of Jedi Trinity at the show's opening, and send her off on a prison ship with one of the robots from the Ice Pirates. Why aren't the Jedi going back with her? They have someplace better to be? Where do they have to go? If she's a Jedi, shouldn't they escort her to make sure she doesn't escape? And why doesn't she mention that maybe it's her sister that they're after? Anyway, the other prisoners on the ship with safety hazard stage one of the easiest escapes ever filmed. Headland, are you listening? Obstacles. And obstacles should help reflect the theme of your story. In fact, almost everything should. Do you know your theme? Do you know what this story's about? Anyway, back on Coruscant, Jedi substitute teacher has scene with Jedi school principal, providing more terrible dialogue and proving in this show what's good ain't that original and what's original ain't any damn good. Have you seen Squid Games, anyone? This guy can act. What's the direction here, Headland? You're a substitute teacher, and all life has been drained from you. Now get in your busted Camry, go home to the studio apartment with your Jedi cats, and order some Jedi takeout. Jedi substitute teacher travels with Jedi art school dropouts to where safety hazard's ship has crashed. This is unbelievable. The ship crashes into a planet, and it's like maybe it dropped 5 feet out of the sky. There's like no damage. The ship would have been torn apart. It makes no sense. She straps herself to a chair that when she recovers from the crash is magically gone. The distress to the ship makes no sense in terms of where she had secured herself. Who was doing the production design on this? They find safety hazard and take her into custody. Then we see the assassin from the beginning talking to some hooded guy. Hooded guy is probably our big baddie that I'm sure the twins will unite to defeat at the end of the series. It's all pretty much paint by numbers. And that's the end of episode 1. Ho freaking hum. I don't know if I can go on. I don't know what the show is about. It's just a bunch of stuff happening. And to be honest, I feel kind of guilty critiquing this show. It feels like I'm critiquing a Teletubbies episode. Something for little kids. But the thing is, even children's shows have themes. It's kind of central to proper storytelling. The dialogue in this thing is terrible. And the longer the episode drags on, the more the first scene with Jedi Trinity felt like Citizen Kane. It made me long for Moss's presence. Why cast her if she's out in one scene? What a tease. I read that Headland wanted the audience to see Moss's character as, quote, Trinity with a lightsaber. Okay, cool. I love The Matrix too, but this just says to me that you don't really have your story thought out. It's all surface. It sounds amateurish. And Trinity ain't going out like this. I can't say this is painful to watch. Maybe at times. It's certainly cringe. And just, you have some good sets and some special effects, although clearly not that much, and this is all you could come up with? It's just another lost opportunity. Take a basic plot from Alistair MacLean, or Ian Fleming, Agatha Christie, or Leslie Charteris who wrote The Saint. Lift, adapt a basic plot and no one will criticize you for it, but give us something compelling. It's also predictable, clearly for little kids. Yet, again, violence is shown as the solution to problems. And this is for little kids? And these are the people who think they're on the right side of history? Haven't thought this through, have you, Leslie? Clever writing finds a way around this. Simplistic, no other way to describe it, but poor writing does not. It's a letdown. It's paint by numbers. Hack. Now, we all can't be David Peoples and Hampton Fancher, but let's take a look at Blade Runner. If this is in Headland's hands, Deckard's the good guy, Batty is the bad guy, and we just have to see Deckard kill Batty and there's the happy ending. Not what Fancher and Peoples did. Deckard is about to fall to his death when, in a reverse, Batty saves him, then gives him a taste of what his life as a slave had been like, and he expires, dies, right before our eyes, and the eyes of Deckard. Who was the good guy? Was Batty really bad? He did some bad things, but wouldn't all of us if we were put in his shoes? That's compelling writing. That's interesting, engaging. That's a spicy meatball. It's not anodyne or insipid. I don't know where this series is headed, but the line, it's not about good or evil, it's about power and who wields it, it's actually a good line, but it's the type of line that traditionally would be uttered by the villain. It literally sounds like something Vader or Palpatine would have said. What is Indara doing on this remote planet? What are they doing at this table here? What's the significance? Attack me with all your strength? That's corny. Why do the twins, May and Osha, years later and in total isolation from each other, have the same exact haircut? How are the prisoners able to escape so easily? This undermines the Jedi characters that you're trying to establish as powerful, making them look totally inept. Are there any rules or guidance or protocol when using the Force to interrogate or manipulate people? We're first introduced to Force manipulation when Obi-Wan uses it to get past the guards, convincing them, with the famous line, "These aren't the droids you're looking for." But have we seen it being used as a kind of Vulcan mind meld to coerce someone to reveal the truth? Maybe we have and I'm not aware. Please let me know in the comments section. But let's be clear, those are two different things. The first episode of The Acolyte ends with a hooded, shadowy figure who says to the assassin we met at the very beginning of the story, "An acolyte kills without a weapon. An acolyte kills the dream." Well, is Leslie Headland an acolyte? Because she sure helped kill the Star Wars dream. And really, dream was all that's left of it at this point. In a way, Headland is the acolyte to Kathleen Kennedy, who seems hell-bent on killing all the dreams inspired by Lucasfilm. Why? Because they made you get coffee? Everyone's got to get coffee at some point, Kathleen. I did. And you got to tell stories and become a billionaire? And you're mad at them for that? I got a word for that. Petty. Small. I got another word for you, Leslie Headland. Sesquipedalian. A word to describe someone who overuses big words. This show is so dull, if I didn't know better, I would have thought that acolyte was Latin for paint by numbers. Thanks for clicking in.
You should see the damage, Bronze, huh? Metal damage, brain damage, huh? You listening, Bronze? I am the Night Rider.